Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, WWE cancelled major WrestleMania plans for Seth Rollins.
Cody Rhodes is no fan of AEW's Four Pillars.
WWE have banned wrestlers and other performers from saying a new word.
And is MJF off to WWE? I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
And we're going to kick this thing off by talking about Seth the Chef Rollins. He's had an interesting couple of weeks, this fella, but it's kind of like a continuation of what we've been talking about really since day one with the WWE Championship, with that evolving situation. Of course, going into day one, it was supposed to be Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the Universal belt. Roman tested positive, Brock put into the WWE title match, won that from Big E, defending against Bobby Lashley at the Royal Rumble. Roman, meanwhile, defending against Seth, who's a Raw wrestler, at the Rumble, but hey, it'll be fun, who cares?
The one night of the year, of course, the Rumble, where Raw and SmackDown wrestlers come together.
Exactly. Never happens anywhere else.
All those other nights.
Wildcard Rule 2022. Original plans, however, for the WWE title were very different. Before all this happened, before Roman tested positive and everything got shaken up all over the place, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, Seth Rollins was going to win the belt in the four-way. So that four-way match at day one was originally going to be him, Big E as the champion, of course, Kevin Owens and Bobby Lashley. Rollins was going to win that. He was going to defend it against the Royal Rumble winner at WrestleMania 38. Probably Big E, according to Dave here. However, Kevin Owens was in the running as well. Bobby Lashley was in that conversation too. So it's interesting to think how just like one thing, like Roman Reigns doing a lateral flow test, can result in so many different changes. Because things are now just completely different for everyone involved here. If this hadn't happened, you probably wouldn't be getting Bobby versus Brock. You wouldn't be getting Seth versus Roman. You wouldn't have Brock as WWE champion, of course. Brock versus Roman is still apparently the destination for WrestleMania. We'll see how we get there. It's kind of interesting, this will.
Yeah, like you say, I'd never wish a positive COVID test on absolutely anyone, particularly not someone like Roman Reigns.
No.
But I think this has actually worked out for the best because I think Big E losing it in that fatal five-way was kind of excusable. I just feel like if he'd lost it in a four-way with Rollins, you'd be like, oh, cool, so I guess they're just giving up on Big E. Whereas Big E losing it to Brock for a brief period, one would assume, I think is the right way forward. And like you say, now we get Bobby versus Brock at the Rumble. I really like, as much as I moaned about it earlier, I love Roman versus Rollins.
It's got loads of history to play off.
At the Rumble. It's one of those matches where you know the person's going to be probably retain the title. I would assume they're going to do Brock versus Roman for the Universal Championship. So maybe Lashley wins that at the Rumble. If we keep the Big E win in the Rumble part of things, I'm kind of all right where everything's heading here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Lashley versus Big E at WrestleMania would make sense as well. And look, Lashley versus Lesnar, you guys know I love that.
Yeah.
Been talking that up for ages and ages. So I think things have fallen into place quite well. Obviously, it sucks that Roman had to go through the COVID situation. Hope he's okay. Hope his family are okay. He was back on TV, so seems like that has cleared off. But yeah, here we are. It's pretty good.
One of the few occasions where last-minute WWE booking actually turns out for the best.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, who needs long-term stories?
Yeah, don't make decisions.
Right, let's talk about AEW's Four Pillars. We know all about them. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about them recently. MJF, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin making them up, although Britt Baker has been suggested, of course, by someone like CM Punk. But Cody Rhodes, not a fan of AEW's Four Pillars, according to recent comments on the Brilliant Wrestling with Brandon F. Walker. He said, I hate the Four Pillars, not the actual idea, but the concept that he means MJF, just went and decided to say, we're the Four Pillars without really confirming. The guy who said the Four Pillars thing, he was the most unknown one coming on board and literally was stuck to my side like a little baby because I knew him from the Northeast independent scene. He continued saying basically AEW's pillars should be determined not simply by people saying, right, it's those four and that's it. It should be determined by their work. What do you reckon to these comments, Andy? And what do you reckon to AEW's Four Pillars?
He's working, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's 100% working with this, obviously, because it's Cody and MJF. One of the biggest feuds in AEW's young history. And you'd imagine someday they're going to do a rematch, which they haven't done yet. Cody's alluded to it in the past. I think after he lost the TNT title for the first time. First time he said something along those lines, but we've not done it yet. plenty of ground left to explore with those two guys. You'd imagine it's quite a while off, though. I think he's just, working some little kayfabe shots in at MJF here for sure. 4 pillars, it's been a much debated concept. I like the idea of identifying people you're going to build around.
Yeah.
I like the idea of going, these are the 4 preeminent ground up male wrestlers in the company. But, Britt is obviously, she's more over than pretty much anyone in that group. So she should probably be in that inclusion as well. I always say stuff like this. I'm not always high on big historical comparisons. So like comparing Gable Steveson at the moment and Kurt Angle, let's not do that. It heaps unrealistic expectations on wrestlers. The 4 pillars, what you're doing with this is you're technically drawing a line between Jungle Boy and Mitsuharu Misawa.
Yes.
Dangerous. I would have rather they used a different term because it puts great expectations on these people, but I think they're all very, very good and can certainly go on to become major level main eventers for this company.
Yeah, without a question, there's certainly 4 people that were identified early on, like you say, for future stardom, and I think all of them have gone on to prove that so far. Do you think there'll ever become a time where you've got heel Cody Rhodes versus babyface MJF?
Oh my goodness, that's an interesting concept.
I mean, he's a babyface in my heart.
Of course, in all of our hearts. He did a great job in Long Island, didn't he? Hamming it up, being real cheesy. Will I get him at the top of the ramp? But also, he's kind of impossible to cheer unless you're from Long Island. So are you.
Would you say cheer is a word you're not allowed to say in AEW?
There we go.
Look at this segue,
Smooth
ladies
transition.
and gentlemen.
Right, WWE banned a word.
Again, another one.
It's technically 3 words. You can probably guess what it is. It's pay-per-view.
No.
Right? Can't say pay-per-view on WWE TV anymore. You could have probably got this impression coming out of day one, where, of course, the hot new term for like not a pay-per-view
show you
anymore.
pay money for.
Yeah, a big show, premium live event was all over the broadcast. They were really hammering that home. Premium live event. Our next premium live event, the Royal Rumble. Pay-per-view is out. Premium live event is in. Dave Meltzer writing in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that it's just banned. Straight up banned pay-per-view. You can't say that crap anymore. There's no word on why exactly WWE have removed pay-per-view from its lexicon. For them, at very least, it is kind of an outdated term, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because who on earth, now that the WWE Network and Peacock have been around for 7 years, who on earth in the United States is sitting there going, yes, I will pay $60 to watch this show, when you can get it for, what is it, $4.99 for the minimum version of
got
Peacock?
the little mini,
Yeah, something like that. So, it's a really small part of their business, actual pay-per-view revenue. I think premium live event is a little contrived, and pay-per-view is a ubiquitous term that we're going to use for these shows regardless. But hey, they've banned it, and if you say it, you will be arrested.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, isn't it? Because the only premium live event I've actually seen this year is my beloved Chesterfield scoring a goal at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. Granted, we'd already conceded 5, but his last goal winner. Look, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Half.
Like you say, it's a term that they're going to use, we're going to be weirded out by, and then probably we're going to end up just bringing it into our lexicon anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, we probably are. We'll be talking about PLEs.
PLEs rather than
like,
PPVs.
That sounds like some financial term.
Indeed. Right, should we talk about MJF again?
Sure.
Get in, 2 in 1, baby. Right, well, MJF really wants us to think he's going to to WWE, sorry. He's in AEW now, of course. So he tweeted over the weekend, Andy, got a signing today for a lot of money. Being in Albany, however, is making me want to up the price. Also, Sean Dean didn't win. Just to continue that thing from Dynamite, of course. Guess who responded? Well, because you've written all these stories up for the website, WhatCulture.com. It's Baron Corbin from WWE with a little gif of The Rock saying the price just went up. And MJF, the worker that he is, responds not with, what's the term they've been using recently, all the weirdos on Twitter? Rent-free. Piss off. Right. MJF responds, when are we going out for steak? Baron Corbin, anytime, but we'll have to rent the place out so peasants can't bother us. I love this sort of thing. This is what I want on my social media, not people arguing about numbers on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? He's really building up this bidding war of 2024 thing across all platforms. He did it on Dynamite this week when we got the little WrestleMania barb in there. It's good stuff. He's building intrigue to this thing. What do you reckon these guys' steak order is, Phil? Because I reckon Baron Corbin strikes me as a guy who not only buys like a rump steak, he gets it well done, and he eats it with ketchup.
Definitely, without question. And I think MJF, as we've seen with Le Dîner Debonair, is a connoisseur of food, no doubt.
He's a medium rare guy.
He's a medium rare guy.
I can tell.
And he probably reenacts that scene from The Matrix that we all do when we have a steak. And just chowing down with a bit of wine.
Of course.
All love to do that. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, we want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Dave Savage Fictitious on Twitter, who says, can you see an uneasy alliance being formed of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman claiming to be the greatest manager ever, boasting to have 2 champions on 2 shows? Is this something WWE should consider?
It'd certainly be a different direction to take this whole deal in, wouldn't it? Can you imagine those two as like a tag team or something, though? Like a
two-man power
spanning. Oh my goodness, they'd be unstoppable. I don't think that's the route they'll go down, though. I think they'll keep it as a straight-up feud, obviously with Heyman in the middle. Where's his alliances? Who do you like? Brock kind of insulted him a bit on SmackDown this week, didn't he? So they're digging into that. Although an alliance would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be absolutely terrifying. Put all the belts on them if that happens. But yes, I think it's just going to be this, and Roman may be thinking, got away with one because he's got to look after that WWE Championship over on the other show, which is why he thinks he can get away with a chin in him on Friday Night SmackDown. But it's all going to fall to pieces, and then we're getting the match at WrestleMania. Mike on the mic gives us our second question of the day with the news of Mickie James participating in the Rumble. If you could pick a surprise entrant for this year's Rumble match, men's or women's, who would you pick to make an impact? See what he's done there.
Moose.
Yes.
I guess it's kind of a default answer because he's the top guy, obviously, in Impact. But just look at the shape he's in at the moment as well. Look at the work he's putting in. He's delivering some of the best output of his career. I think that'd be awesome, and I think he'd look great in a WWE ring.
Do you know what I think? I think you've already got a team of 2 that have announced that they're going to be in the Women's Royal Rumble. Why don't we have another team of 2? Why don't we make this Royal Rumble? Iconic! It's early on a Monday for that, innit?
Yep.
Honestly, if that happens, my tits off. Tits off. Final question. Yep. Eddie Zamhari. Hey guys, would you rather get speared through a table that's set on fire, suplex through a barbed wire table, or powerbombed onto thumbtacks?
Oh, all of them suck.
Yeah, all of them rubbish.
All of them really suck. Oh no, I don't know. Like, immediately your head thinks, thumbtacks, they're not as brutal, but there'd be so many of them. And if you've ever...
Jericho had 69 in him, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Nice.
And at that point in his career, we were going, he's so old, why is he doing this? Yeah. He's still going pizza cutters these days. It's mental. Have you ever stood on a thumbtack? It's horrible. I'm not picking that. Set me on fire, why not?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I thought barbed wire, I can't. Oh my god! I walk past a thorn bush and go, ooh, no. So that's not for me.
Peeling it off you.
Thumbtacks, like you say, it's the double whammy of not only landing in the thumbtacks, but I've seen people when they get taken out, and it's not just like, thank goodness you got rid of that.
Yeah.
It hurts coming out as well. So why do I think, having watched what's happened over the years with everyone, and particularly with like Cody recently, despite his weird back stuff, getting cooked on AEW, why do I think, all it is on fire? I think I will do that, and maybe we hope it's one of those spots that we've all seen where they light the table on fire and they take so long faffing around on the top rope.
It goes off.
That it's just a slightly warm table by the time they're here.
I'll take the warm table anyway.
We'll take the warm table. Right, let's move on to today's and finally. A bit of a difficult one, this, because I wanted to read it off Twitter, but I saw it and then I clicked on it and then I realised this guy doesn't allow us to see his tweets. It's Ryback.
I wonder why he doesn't allow us to see his tweets.
Come on.
You're watching the video, Ryback.
It's a good tweet, this.
Yeah.
Heyman has never loved a client like me. I'm the only one he's kissed on the cheek. I had to disinfect it for several hours after, but she shows how much he loved me.
That's not bad patter for Ryback.
Yeah.
Gee, wait, all right.
Come on.
All right, big guy.
Unblock us, big guy.
Yeah, is there anyone in this office he hasn't blocked? Come on. He's even got people from the gaming channel blocked.
Oh.
He's never... right.
Come on, the fresh start, 2022, big guy.
We love you.
Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dally Boys sitting down to review SmackDown Battle of the Belts and AEW Rampage, and look ahead to Monday Night Raw, of course, later on today. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for help.
Yep, it does. And you can follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.